and crucial for any business enterprise?
Wow. I mean, all organizations are people, bottom line. I mean, buildings don't do much, products don't do much. It's the people that make things happen. So if you don't develop your people, you're not going to move anywhere. In fact, a lot of the failures in companies are a result of lack of innovation and people development. So a conference like this motivates our HR people to do more and do better.
And how does a company implement an ideal strategy for people management?
Where do we get an ideal strategy? You know, I think that's where you develop your competitive edge. If a company had an ideal one, if there were a single ideal one, all companies would be the same. We heard some great examples today about some of what the companies are doing, and the serious people orientation has obviously got a serious payoff. How you do that, I think it depends on the backgrounds of the followers, the clientele that you're serving, the size of the company, the leadership styles within the firm, and the age of the company. And strategizing is really the responsibility of all leadership within a firm, and that's where competitive edge comes from. You can't get it from a book. In fact, for me to answer that properly, I'd have to work in that company for some time before I could figure it out. In fact, I'm trying to get strategies for AIM.
How does a company should address attrition, and it is related to how does a company make people happy and stay with the company?
Well, the happiness question is a tough one because, giving them a lot of time off and a lot of breaks and good food might make them happy, but the company doesn't do so well. So satisfaction with a job, believe it or not, people are motivated to do well. And if they get recognized for that, it makes a big difference. And so I would say our HR people, when they build incentive systems to build those strategies, they need to pay attention to outcome variables, what we're trying to accomplish, and then figure out what it is that gets people to do it. But there's no simple answer to that question. I think that's as complicated as the other strategy question you asked me.
What are the you have case studies of companies doing a lot of people management strategies that were successful or not successful. Can you give us a good case study wherein this company really made a considerable progress in terms of people management?
Well, let me think for a minute here. We heard an example today, but I'm very familiar with a company called Federal Express. In fact, it's not that old a company, 45 years, and when I was an MBA student, I studied it, and it was only 10 years old. Well, now that's many, many years since, and so there have been a lot of cases written about it. In fact, I taught a case this summer, an updated case about penetration into China. And what impresses me about FedEx is their people orientation. If you talk to people, they're all very proud to work there. They've been there for a long time. They would never consider leaving. And you ask them why, and it's a matter of respect and appreciation. That company, it's very much a team-oriented firm, and their strategies are really relationship within and outside. I mean, they work hard on building bonds. They're very personal. As large as that company is, they still, the leadership knows the people, knows their personal situations, and it's like a big family. And it's a very successful company. And I credit their personal approach to their people as one of their differentiating factors. And they're one of the best.
In planning a successful people management strategy, is there any theory that they should follow? Any good teaching from past experts that they should implement?
Your questions are so tough if I had a few minutes to think, but when you talk about theory, we're still learning from the Hawthorne effect, and this is where the Harvard faculty studied the seamstresses, and turned out that when the lights went up, they got better, when the lights went down, they got better, and they couldn't figure it out, and what it was is they had attention, they got attention. And a lot of we fail to recognize the importance of appreciation and recognizing people's performance. Certainly you got to pay them and you got to treat them with respect, but giving them, valuing their contribution. I think, and that's a theory that's been around forever, but surprisingly few companies capitalize on it. They worry about the compensation package much more than they worry about recognizing performance and valuing it. So, you know, we talk about the hypos, but the hypos don't get the job done alone. I mean, there's a company there with a lot of people, and all through all the layers, you need to recognize them. I've seen companies where the hypo orientation backfires because they put all their attention into the select few, and the team gets left behind. And we're just studying the impact of that because high potential programs are fairly recent, the last 10, 15, 20 years. And we're now realizing that balance is better. And you really need to have strategies for all your people and not just select few.
My last question is there any special case about the Filipino Enterprise in dealing with people management? Are there any cases that where these Filipino enterprises really have met failure but reached success in terms of, well, their bottom line? In terms of people management, how did it contribute to their success? Is there any case for that?
I suspect there are, but you may have learned that I'm a rather recent Filipino resident. I moved here a couple weeks ago, and am delighted to learn exactly what you're saying. But I will tell you this, I tend not to be nationalistic in my approach. The schools that I've worked for have really developed global leaders, and I try to get people to think way beyond the local culture, and it's successful everywhere. I mean, if you're a global leader working cross borders, cross culture in the Philippines, you will be more insightful, you'll be more adaptable, you'll be more progressive than someone who's mired in a single culture. So I always break through, and I probably don't use nationalistic examples. I use global examples. So, but anyway, that's an interesting question. I'm sure there's more for me to learn as I hear longer.
Thank you very much, sir, and good luck in your. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.